Alright YouTube, so today I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and whether or not we're going to see something this year for it, potentially at E3, which is where I'm hoping we will see something. As many of you might know, Final Fantasy VII is actually my favorite game of all time. So when the news dropped in 2015 at E3 that there was a Final Fantasy VII Remake, I lost my shit. I actually didn't even watch this Square Enix showcase because that was when Fallout 4 was being shown and everything. So I was all about Bethesda that year at E3, and I actually missed this. I seen it on Twitter, and I had to go back and find the videos and stuff on YouTube. But I was unbelievably happy. But as time went on, we learned a little more about the game and the ideas for the game. And it started looking less and less good to me, and we learned that it was going to be episodic, and it wasn't going to be turn-based. But I didn't expect it to be turn-based, but I'd like it to be. And I ended up making a Final Fantasy VII rant, which was at the time when it came out on my channel, it was the longest video I ever made. It was 12 minutes long. And I was super critical of it at the time, because it was so different from the game I grew up and loved. But as time's gone on, I've grown to... I know it'll be great. Final Fantasy 15 convinced me of this when it released last year. The kind of Kingdom Hearts-esque fighting style is fine, dude. When you run around the world, you fight yourself. There's no turn-based. You see the enemies you're going to fight, so you can avoid the fights if you want to. It's going to be great. I was salty at the time. The issue I have is that E3 this year will be 2 years since the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Remake. At the later end of 2015, we got the PlayStation Experience trailer, which showed a little bit of gameplay and some other kind of opening Final Fantasy VII moments, like when you're getting off the train and you're meeting everybody from Avalanche. But we haven't got anything since then. We don't know anything. We have no release dates. We have no idea how far along they are. We have nothing, and that is a big issue for me. I actually came across this article today, released today, on usgamer.net, which of course I'll link below. But it's an interview with the producer for Final Fantasy VII Remake, Yoshinori Kitase. I don't know how to pronounce Japanese names, so I'm probably butchering that. But he goes into a little bit of detail about the game and kind of the first episode. He's quoted as saying, "We're still brushing up the scenes we showed you in the trailer. The level of quality we need to hit is coming into view, but there's still some way to go from here," said Kitase. "I think it's my responsibility to decide the level of quality and maintain that quality to the very end during production of the episodes. Of course, as the episodes progress, it's only natural that the quality match." The article goes on to say, Square Enix has settled on the game's battle system, which will not be the turn-based RPG the original. Kitase says the Final Fantasy VII Remake director, Tetsuya Nomura, has solidified the base of the game, working alongside Kingdom Hearts and Dissidia Final Fantasy VII planning director Mitsunori Takahashi. Those names can give you an idea of what kind of combat you should expect. Kitase also talked about being able to keep fans happy between episode releases. He says, Final Fantasy VII spreads out laterally in a compilation. There isn't a concrete plan, but since we can't put out the game in just a few months, I want to think of a way to sustain interest in between releases, he explained. While I would like to take measures such as doing live streams to interact with users, with this episode system I think we'll be using all of our energy on reaching the end of the original game, so I don't really know whether or not we'll be able to do things between episodes and other titles. Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to PlayStation 4 when it's done, but it's coming to PlayStation 4 first, not just PS4. Here's my issue with those quotes of his, those statements he made. He said they are still brushing up the scenes they showed us in the trailer. Now, there's been the two different trailers. The first trailer didn't show us anything but cinematic stuff, but the second trailer showed us actual gameplay and parts of the story. But the only thing it showed us was the very beginning of Final Fantasy VII. It showed, Cloud getting off the train and them fighting the soldier guys and him first joining up with Avalanche and going and blowing up the first Mako reactor. The problem here is he said they're still brushing up those scenes. That's literally the beginning of the goddamn game. How many episodes do they plan on doing it? If he's still brushing up those scenes at the very beginning of Final Fantasy VII, how many episodes are there going to be? It's going to be 40 or something, dude. Because, for instance, the first disc of Final Fantasy VII doesn't end until Aerith dies. When Aerith dies, that's when the first disc ends. At that point, you've already left Midgar. You've already been on the overworld. You've explored a lot of stuff. You've already obtained the car. You've already obtained, I believe, the Tiny Bronco, which is the thing that lets you go around in the shallow waters, and possibly even the airship. I can't remember off the top of my head. So you've already explored most of the goddamn world by the time the first disc ends. He's still working on the beginning of Final Fantasy VII Remake. At this point, dude, I don't even know when, according to these quotes anyways, I don't know when we're going to see anything from this game, because if he's still working and brushing up on this beginning stuff, dude, that means there's literally the entire game still left to do. That worries me a lot. This year marks the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. More specifically, yesterday, January 31st was the exact day. We would have done a video yesterday about it, but I uploaded like 2 videos yesterday, and I didn't want to upload a 3rd video. And to commemorate this milestone, this illustrious event, this thing that only happens one time with anything ever, something can only ever be 20 years old one time, they released 2 pictures. First, we have the Kingdom Hearts 3 picture, where you see Sora doing the iconic pose from the original Final Fantasy VII photo, like the iconic cover from the game where he's holding a Buster Sword looking up at a Mako reactor. And look, I know there's a huge fan base for Kingdom Hearts. It's not my personal favorite series. I played the original game when it released. It was really cool. I never played any of the other sequels or anything. And this is a cute little nod to Final Fantasy VII. But, I honestly don't care about this. This does nothing for me. This is not news. This doesn't do anything for me at all. This is not even honestly, is this a way to commemorate a game being 20 years old at all? Like a picture? And they also released this picture, which is admittedly a pretty damn cool picture, but, the teaser came out 2 years ago, and this is all you got to show for the 20th anniversary. Like, anybody with decent Photoshop skills could have made this. Like, this did not, for somebody who makes Final Fantasy content, they probably made this super goddamn quick in Photoshop or something like that. Like, this did not take that long. Like, you can't patch together some sort of a trailer. You have to be further along in development on the game. Like, show us some more areas, some more gameplay, tell me a little nugget of information about the goddamn game at all, anything. They're keeping very silent, like they're trying not to spoil anything, but it's a fucking remake of a game that everybody knows. Like, we've all played Final Fantasy VII. You can't spoil it for us. We know what's going to happen. I could probably tell you what happens from beginning to end, Disc 1 to Disc 3, and I haven't played the game in probably 1 to 2 years. Like, you're not spoiling anything for me. I know exactly what happens. Like, it's just crazy to me that they're keeping so silent about it, like there's some sort of secret. Like, there's nothing to spoil, really. Another thing is they're making this game episodic, so they're going to release it in episodes. I don't know how many, but they're waiting so long. Like, if you're trying to build the entire game and then release it episodic, like that doesn't make a lot of sense. You might as well just release the entire game at that point. If you are truly sticking to being episodic, then finish the first episode. Don't make it shitty. I know I don't want you to rush it and just throw it out there, but it's got to be done pretty close to done by now. I mean, the teaser trailer was 2 years ago. Some games are made in 2 years. Some games are made yearly, like Assassin's Creed. While not the best example, Assassin's Creed is still a pretty in-depth game, a huge open world, and lots to do. So it's just like, you can't tell me that at least the first episode isn't pretty close to being done. Do I think we'll see something at E3 this year? I don't know, guys. I'm super hopeful for it. I think now, especially with it being the 20th anniversary, and I believe this year's the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy altogether, but it being the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII, I think we'll see something this year. We might get a release date, another good gameplay trailer, hell, maybe even the first episode. I don't know, but I think we'll see something this year at some point. Hopefully at E3. But Square Enix is very, very bad about delays, so I could be making this exact same rant 2 goddamn years from now. So who knows when we will see anything, guys? I don't know. As a lot of you probably know, I mean, we've known about Final Fantasy 15 for, 10 years. It started development in 2006 and went through a bunch of different changes and eventually became its own title. It's supposed to be kind of a branch off from Final Fantasy 13, but became its own title, which I think is for the better anyway, because 13 was toxic. But that worries me because I just don't want them to delay this. I don't want them to rush it either. I want them to find the middle ground, obviously. I want it to be as good as possible, but we don't want to wait 10 goddamn years for Final Fantasy. Technically, we've already waited 20 years for fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, it came out 20 years ago. I've been wanting a remake since I was at least a kid, when remakes started happening. I don't know exactly when that was off the top of my head, but whenever they started doing remakes, I was like, man, Final Fantasy VII Remake would be kind of good. Probably around the time they did Crisis Core for the PSP, because of how good that game was, and it's kind of nice to see the cinematics were damn good quality compared to Final Fantasy VII, and just the all-around world of it was a lot better. So we know that E3 happens during the summer, so that gives them still several months, good 4, 5, 6 months until E3 even happens. So that gives them plenty of time to finish brushing up whatever the fuck they're brushing up. Hopefully give us at least another good gameplay trailer. We don't need a cinematic trailer. That doesn't interest me. I want to see what the game is about. And hopefully maybe a release window for the first episode, like something, dude. Just say 2018. If you don't have anything for 2017, just tell us 2018. That way we have something to grasp onto. I don't know, guys. If you went on to enjoy the video, or if you want some fucking news on this game, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Follow me on Twitter. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake, 'cause I don't fucking care.